ViVek went on Sean Hannity, and Sean Hannity ate his ass a little bit, which is crazy. ViVek is just getting owned left and right by everybody. And I will admit that one thing that I was very deeply and undesirably, one thing that I was very deeply frustrated by with ViVek was how like annoying of a debate lord he was. And I think that he tries a little too hard and is basically like an Indian Blake Masters with a little bit better rhetoric than Blake Masters. Like, he dialed back on the school shooter aspect. Like, if there were like a bunch of different skill sets that these candidates had, if you guys remember Blake Masters in Arizona, he maxed out on the school shooter vibes, right? But he was very much the same like cutthroat businessman who very clearly was saying the right lines for a hyper online community of right-wing Republicans to hear. Okay? And ViVek is definitely doing that. Ron DeSantis tried doing that as well and has failed thus far. Not everyone can do it like Donald Trump, who people are invested in because he's Donald Trump. Now, Blake Masters looked like a major creep to the average American, and that's why he got absolutely destroyed. ViVek is like Indian Blake Masters, but not as much as a school shooter, but instead a school debater. Okay? He gives off debate club vibes. Like, his smarminess and his insistence on like just constantly trying to have an argument, a conversation, I think is very annoying for the average American. At first, I thought, he's hitting all the Trump lines, and I think people will like him. But now I realize it's more so just an online phenomena. I think that it's more so just people online that will like him. I mean, obviously, I've said time and time again that there was no shot he was winning regardless. But I do feel like his attitude, the way he operates, the way he carries himself, and how interested he is in having a conversation, okay? I think those qualities make him unlikable, okay? I don't think these qualities make him likable. I think they make him annoying. So much so that Eminem has sent him a cease and desist. Eminem to the presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy, stop using lose yourself. He has roasted Vivek Ramaswamy, who went viral for rapping an Eminem song. Now the presidential candidate has been rebuffed by the Detroit Star. BMI, the licensing organization that oversees the public performance of Eminem's songs, delivered a cease and desist letter last Wednesday to the Ohio Republican demanding that Ramaswamy stop performing Eminem's music. It's pretty funny to be like an Eminem guy and constantly sing Eminem when you know he's like a massive lib. Like, he's a huge lib. He's like a Hillary Clinton style liberal too. Like, he'll rap about like he'll rap about like how, guns are bad or how abortion should be protected and shit. You know what I mean? He's like very openly rapped about those things to a degree where it's like kind of corny, as a matter of fact. You know what I mean? Like, he's, yeah, Trump is orange. What can you rhyme with orange? Porridge. That's that type of shit. The letter was first reported by the UK's Daily Mail and was confirmed to the Free Press Monday by a representative for Eminem. Yeah, that's an awfully hot coffee pot. Should I pour it on Donald Trump? Probably not. Fuck. Anyway, he God damn it. Here's old ViVek. What is happening to me? I rapped too hard. I rap too hard. The Eminem curse is real. Okay, so here's young ViVek in 2004, still behaving in the same exact way.
Question here, go ahead. Reverend Sharpton, hello, I'm ViVek, and I want to ask you, last week on the show we had Senator Kerry, and this week, and the week before we had Senator Edwards, and my question for you is, of all the Democratic candidates out there, why should I vote for the one with the least political experience?
Well, you shouldn't, because I have the most political experience. I got involved in the political...
What a throwback, dude. Al Sharpton. Fat Al Sharpton. Goddamn. It's so funny.
Movement when I was 12 years old. And I've been involved in social policy for the last 30 years. So don't...
Before he was putting that shit on, even then he was putting that shit on. Al Sharpton has never not put that shit on. Even back, like way back in the day when he was like majorly invested in like, black nationalist movements and stuff like that, which is why like Republicans were like, he's a race pimp. He is a hustler. He's a race hustler. He's a scary man. He's a terrorist. You know what I mean? Even back then, he was still putting that shit on. He's never not put that shit on. I think the greatest photo of all time is the 0.5 angle that he took before 0.5 was even a thing by Zoomers. You know what I'm talking about? When he's like strutting his shit in the bathroom. Let me see if I can find that selfie. I mean, this is like, obviously we love political selfies. Greg Giraldo being another famous one, but like, this is the GOAT. This is the best. Look at this shit. Who does that, man? I mean, who has the courage? Who really? Yeah, he was so bad for this. Yeah, a bad bitch, you mean? Because that's true. He hasn't stopped, by the way. He still does it every now and then. He is the king of the selfies. Look at this. He said, look back at it. It is pretty funny that like when he got on that Ozempic shit, okay? When he got on that Ozempic shit, he just lost. He has no ass. Like zero. He's got the Hank Hill butt. He lost everything, dude. It's just his head size was so perfectly valid for the former body that he had. Then he lost all the fucking weight. And now it just looks like he's got a massive head on like a child's body. With the fucking Hank Hill butt, too. What happened to you, but backwards? Yeah, he is the reverse Hasan. Anyway, this is not a Photoshop pic. No, this is just how big his head is. Anyway, let's continue.
Confuse people that have a job with political experience. Whoever the head of some local bureaucracy has a job in Cambridge. That doesn't mean that they have political experience, and it doesn't mean they have the experience to run the United States.
What the fuck? A very incredibly rare striker 6 not shit pose. Unfortunately, I work in pharma. I met ViVek in person and worked on his failed Alzheimer's drug for 2 years, which was his first project, RVT 101. His string of Vant companies are the worst pharma industry practices times 10. They bought decent molecules and pumped every dollar they could out of them in stock price, knowing they could never be successful drugs. Not a shit pose. That's crazy. A very incredibly rare striker 6 not shit post moment. This is, I've never seen this man sincere pose. He broke character. That's wild. Casually breaking some NDM shirt? No, that's not. Everybody knows that ViVek's first big entry into the pharma field was literally a failed Alzheimer's drug that, as we talked about many times over now, had failed 4 times on trials, and he literally just did a perfectly legal pump and dump, pretty much. Made out like a bandit. It's super common. It happens in pharmaceuticals all the time. It's gotten significantly worse with the VC Silicon Valley types entering the fray. Yeah, I saw Kanye got caught getting head in Italy. I saw. It was kind of weird. I'm conflicted on that one. I predicted the Eminem thing over 2 weeks ago. I hope Eminem calls ViVek to stay, stops playing my song. That song is for Obama Libs gym playlist and nothing else. True. Yeah.
Government. So I think that we confuse title holders with political experience, as we have seen with the present occupant in the White House. George Bush was a governor and clearly has shown he doesn't have political experience. Next one.
Wow. He was ViVek back then was a libtard getting George Soros bucks, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, nowadays our boy ViVek is running around doing the most, trying to be like the smarmiest, most annoying debate lord you could possibly be. And one of the things that he's been doing is just consistently going on news broadcasts and getting cumstered. I don't know why he has chosen to do this. I don't know why he keeps going on news broadcasts and then they keep owning him. And it's like people like Dana Bash, which normally you don't expect to own anybody, really. It is really, really, really sad. A sad state of affairs that the debate lord is trying to come across like he's getting some owns and just ends up getting owned instead. And it's not even just from the likes of Dana Bash or MSNBC hosts. I forget this lady's name. It's even from Sean Hannity because of his obscure ass foreign policy positions that are completely beyond the pale for mainstream media, which has a damn near bipartisan consensus on what America is going to do on its foreign affairs. That is like the major reason, Andrea Mitchell. Okay, thank you. That is one of the major reasons why he keeps getting yelled at. It's pretty funny. It's like they're not even getting mad at his like Republican shit for the most part. They're usually getting mad, even on the Republican side. They're getting mad at things that he is saying about foreign policy, like how he claims he's not going to give money to Israel or some shit, okay? You can't do that. Or how he thinks like Russia will be our ally against the war against China that's coming up. It's like such an odd line. It is such an odd thing to defend when you're running for president, when Americans are just across the board united. Like Republicans are united on this shit. Democrats are united on this shit. Democrats yell at other Democrats that stray away from the mainstream perspective. Like, how do you not see that? Are you that incapable of reading the room? Anyway, it's very odd. It's very odd to see. It's like an unsubscribed member at the top of the hour thinking that you're not gonna see an ad. You're gonna see an ad at the top of the hour. Like, read the room. Now, of course, if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe for $5 or free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. You get one free Prime subscription. Use it on your favorite broadcaster. Here's the 3-minute ad break now.
So that means you would not have certified the results that night before midnight on January 6th.
Here he is. Here he is doubling down on his position that Mike Pence should have refused to certify the election on January 6th until he could employ one weird trick to unilaterally implement voter ID and change federal election law. Wait, let me see if this is on the playlist, actually. If this is on the docket, I'll watch the full one instead. Chris Christie. It's not on the docket. Okay. Let me see if I can find the full video. Because this is this from this morning? ViVek, MSNBC. No, I can't find it. Anyway, all right, let's just go after these bits and pieces.
She would not have certified the results that night before midnight on January 6th, while that was your constitutional obligation. What if Kamala Harris did that? What if Joe Biden and Kamala Harris win?
To be clear,
would she have that same authority?
To be clear, I stand by what I said.
But how could you get legislation through, sir, in, that kind of legislation through in time to certify the election? You would be violating your oath as vice president.
There would have been. So I respectfully disagree, Andrea. I stand by what I said in that interview, not what you just said that I said. I said that that's exactly.
Yeah, this is too boring. Like, people are not invested in ViVek enough to be like, yeah, actually, we should defend the integrity of his lines. Like, every time I hear from this dude, it's always, it's not what I said. I said something else, and you're saying that I didn't say the thing that I actually said, but here's what I really said. It's like, bro, no one cares. No one cares. No one cares. Stop it. Don't go on these fucking shows anymore, okay? Don't. You are not looking good. You think you're looking good. You're not looking good, okay? Like, these are not slam dunks. When Donald Trump does stuff like this, like when he course corrects or whatever, there is already an audience that is invested in what he has said, okay? And he rarely ever is like, nope, you're lying. Here's what I actually said. Like, he doesn't do that. That is minutia, okay? You can't just try to consistently gaslight an entire country of news watchers all the time on really silly semantics conversations. This is literally the most, not even a debate lord, not even a debate pervert, the most debate pedophile thing you can do, okay? I'm increasing his severity of debate lordness from debate lord. He was originally a debate lord. He then turned into a debate pervert, and now I've upgraded him to the final one, debate pedophile, okay? You cannot be a debate pedophile on TV every fucking night about, like, incredibly boring semantics conversations that revolve around what you said or what you may or may not have said. Here are his polls. He's riding off the high of the original of the performance that he pulled off in the debate stage, ironically. But if he keeps this shit up, I feel like the more people see him, the more bored they're gonna get. They're not, like, I don't think people look at this and go, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think people look at this and go, wow, he's really sticking it to mainstream media. He just comes across as, like, really fucking slimy. He comes across as, like, really slimy and, like, really fucking annoying. And he's not debating on, like, issues that people care about. You know what I mean? Issues that Republicans care about. He's not on here being like, no, white supremacy is sick, actually. I love that shit. He's literally being like, actually, I didn't say that. Why are you saying that I said that? Please stop doing fake news on me.
In, that kind of legislation through in time to certify the election. You would be violating your oath as vice president.
There would have been. So I respectfully disagree, Andrea. I stand by what I said in that interview, not what you just said that I said. I said that that's exactly what I would have delivered, and then use that as an opportunity for heroism to reunite this country, because there are two preconditions.
He just comes across so fucking fake. Like, I don't know. I think, like, he is too busy trying to hit the high notes without, like, actually having a conversation. And I feel like, yes, Americans do hate the media, obviously. Everybody hates the media. But you know what Americans hate more than the media, especially, like, Republicans and shit? Like, they hate nerds. He's giving too much Blake Masters energy. It's too much Blake Masters energy, okay? It's giving too much Blake Masters energy. And, like, just like Blake Masters, he also is a product of these, like, elite institutions. You know what I mean? Blake Masters also loved rapping, if you guys remember. There's a lot. Many people have said he's like Andrew Yang. I think he's more like Blake Masters.
for the health of our constitutional republic. One is the peaceful transition of power. The other is public confidence in our elections. And when those come into conflict, that was a rare opportunity for heroism that I think Mike Pence missed. And
So that means you would.
people change over the.
Oh,
Yes,
here's
finally.
the, will the real Slim Shady please stand up? Oh my God, I'm going to fucking die.
Let me ask you finally about Eminem. They've sent you a cease and desist through the music.
Yeah, here's Blake Masters rapping. Trigger warning.
Now the press is having a day. They're getting all mad. They're looking for a fight. I'm reading the news. I'm like, this shit ain't right. What's going on here? He can't speak the truth. What if she was a sweetie? What if she was cute?
I'm not going to show you the whole thing because I don't want everyone in my community to commit harakiri, like collectively get into a room with like a bunch of katanas and engage in mass suicide. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that to you because this is nuclear cringe, okay? This will do psychic damage. This will do psychic damage to you. This is what they play in Guantanamo Bay, okay? This is the worst level of enhanced interrogation. We're not going to do that. He raps like a racist Lin-Manuel Miranda. True. Okay, let's move on. What are those red lines? That's war paint. He's doing like tribal war paint because he's like, I hate woke culture. Like I can do Indian war paint, you know, that
licensing
kind of thing.
company to stop using "Lose Yourself" on the trail. Have
Yes.
you agreed to move on?
Yeah, look, I think that I'll respect his wishes, but I would just say, will the real Slim Shady please stand up? Eminem in his rise used to be a guy who actually stood up to the establishment and said the things that the establishment didn't want him to say.
Oh my God. Yeah, like fucking, like raping people or killing his mom. Like, I'm a 35-year-old former, or I'm a 38-year-old former pharma tech CEO. And I don't know why Eminem is no longer talking about raping women. What is happening? He should be talking about beating his wife and raping her like when he was cool. I think that's cool. It's like, bro, you are literally 40. Shut the fuck up, okay? What are you saying right now? You're not like a fucking cringe teenager, okay? You're running for president, dog. You're running for president. The fuck? Will the real Slim Shady please stand up? Ah, ha, ha, ha. Ah, fuck. What's wrong with 40? I'm literally 40. Yeah, if you're literally 40 and you're like, will the real Slim Shady please stand up? I like the old Eminem. Then you're fucking cringe and you should grow the fuck up and act like your age, okay? Why is it that every time I mention something, people go, "What? This is, why are you saying fuck me for?" It's like, no, I'm not. Unless you're doing that, unless you're running around. You sound Prez actually better than your flow, low key. True. I'm pressed. I'm jealous. I'm jealous of his vibes, dude. He's killing it. Ay, ay, ay.
I think the fact that my political viewpoints may differ from his, I think people change over the course of their lives. But I have hope for him that he will one day rediscover the renegade that made him.
This is also the classic, like, conservatives are the counterculture. They're the real counterculture, which actually it ties perfectly into the next thing that I want to show you.
Great, and I'm rooting for that success in his life.
Well, ViVek Ramaswamy, thank you for your time today. To be continued. Let's have more opportunity to talk.
Yeah, it's great. To be continued. Oh, here it is. Conservative is the new punk rock. It's no longer rage against the machine. It's rage for the machine. They love saying this.
I remember when I was growing up, I was like a mega punk rocker, and I was just super anti-establishment, super anti-system, oppression, stupid laws telling me how to think, how to live my life, people trying to dictate what I do, you know.
Yeah, like, don't get ugly face tattoos, okay? This guy was like, no, man. If getting ugly face tattoos is illegal, put me in jail. Put me in a Supermax prison. Do you understand? I'm going to Supermax. I'm getting the worst tattoos you've ever seen.
It's like super punk rock when I was a kid. Like, I had a whole mohawk. It was like a foot tall for like most of my...
Honestly, H would have fucked up by not hiring this guy to be a fish man. I've never seen more of a Fishman look-alike in the wild with the teeth and all. You know what I mean? He just straight up, this dude straight up looks more Fishman than all the Fishman on the live action One Piece. Okay.
Teenage years. You know, I grew up in New York. And, you know, I realized it's kind of funny. You can't really be a punk rocker and be a liberal anymore because that has become the establishment. So if you want...
Yeah, sure, fine, okay? But, like, so are Republicans. Everyone's a fucking lib.
If you want to be a punk rocker, you by definition have to be a conservative.
Yeah, conservatives are so punk rock, dude. Dude, I fucking love that. There's nothing dumber. There's nothing dumber than being like, dude, conservatism is counterculture. It's like every 4 years they cycle this out and they test the field. And then like the broader majority of Christian conservatives that vote for the Republican Party reliably are like, no, shut the fuck up. That's not like, what are you talking about? No. I don't want to hire you. You have face tattoos. Get the fuck out of my store. Yeah. There's nothing that says punk rock like funding the police more, which the Democrats do, and so do the Republicans, okay? This guy better be using that Celtic nodding pattern. Our culture is not your costume. Sometimes it is, but still.
It's the weirdest thing. And, like, you know, I know you're probably going to get all mad and try to defend your point. Like, oh, well, they're Christians. Like, that just makes you the bigot. Strangely enough. So, good on all you Christians for being real punk rockers while the world has gone.
Like, they don't want that. This is, like, incredibly alt, incredibly niche, okay? Like, imagine a guy who has been a reliable Republican Party voter, who voted for Donald Trump, loves him. He owns an HVAC business, okay, in Indiana. Do you think that lifelong church-going, you know, Donald Trump-loving guy wants to be called fucking punk rock as a Christian? He's like, that's that devil's music, boy. Get the fuck out of my store. Fuck you mean? Punk rock? What are you saying? Like, who do you think is the median Republican voter? You think it's this fucking guy? Absolutely not. I know the liberal monoculture is so overpowering that you have like blue-haired SJWs and you have blue-haired Republicans now. Okay? Especially post-COVID, a lot of like these granola moms and shit went full-blown QAnon, right? But that is still a tiny part of the base. It's not even a part of the base, really. Have you heard Christian music? Have you ever been to an area where there's like actually just like normal Christian people around? Not like people that fucking wear their political affiliations on their sleeve, but like Americans, you know what I mean? Like regular old white bread, Wonder Bread ass Americans. Let me tell you, you walk into a fucking coffee shop, okay, in a random part of the country that is a little bit more rural, the music that they're playing is like Christian renditions. Like, you know how the ABCDFU, like, you know that song? There's like a Christian version of that. Did you know? Did you know that there's a Christian version of that song, including every other fucking song? I know all of my Midwestern Americans in the chat right now know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. And it's like ABCD, no, it's like ABCDEF, God. No, it's something like that. It's like Kids Bop, but for Christians. Okay? Let me see if I can find it. ABCD. Is this?
GHIST I gave my life, I got Jesus on my side. Tell my sins goodbye, let the devil run and hide. I'm free, no defeat, I proclaim my victory till the end of time. Cause my
Like, you walk into a fucking coffee shop and this shit's blasting. You think that guy wants to be called punk rock? You think that motherfucker who's like, maybe this guy who's singing it wants to be called punk rock because he's a TikTok Satanist. But the people that are enjoying this music, the broader majority, not a single one of those motherfuckers want to be called punk rock. They don't want to be counterculture.
My God loves me.
Anyway. Better one.
God's will made you. This is a certified church classic.
Gracious Grizzle!
Damn, son of God, where'd you find this?
Oh my God, this is so stupid. Okay.
Gone ultra establishment, ultra oppression, ultra government overreach. So, yeah, you can't be big government and be.
Like, these guys have deluded themselves on TikTok, on Facebook, into thinking they're like, their mania is expressed through other facets of the Republican Party, when like the average Republican still absolutely is just like, this punk rock shit is what? I don't understand it. Like, the average Republican is threatening you with a gun when you enter their store because they think you're a criminal, okay? Because you have the ugliest tattoos I have ever fucking laid eyes on. And he should do that. It is his God-given right, okay? Now, having said that, the one aspect of this doorknob that actually does track with the rest of the conservative movement is his lack of understanding of art. Okay? Let me explain something to you. Conservatives, they can't read subtext. That's not a thing for them. Okay? They want it to be laid on thick, which is ironic because even when something is laid on thick for them, like Rage Against the Machine, okay, talking about how cops are fucking Klansmen, okay? How cops are actually a part of the Ku Klux Klan. Do you understand? Like, that is, like it, hate it, doesn't matter. How do you miss the point? How do you miss that point? It's not even subtle. It's not even subtext. It is the text. Okay? So for those people to just like listen to that music and be like, well, you know, it seems to me like they're raging for the vaccine now, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. You just don't understand it. Okay?
Be a punk rocker. That makes no fucking sense at all. So there's a shout out to all you globalists out there. Keep doing what you're doing. We'll see how long it lasts.
Yeah, dude. The punk rock scene is gonna fucking win over the minds and hearts of everyday Americans too. Anyway. This dude is so out of touch though. I'm a metalhead and most bands I know are like violently progressive. Yeah. There's definitely a huge group of punk rock chuds rising up. Dude. Nobody from Ohio. Like, first of all, there's always been skinheads, anti-Nazi skinheads, and also Nazi skinheads. There's always been like a culture of Nazi punks. But that is irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. If we're talking about like average Americans and their understanding of the world, the things they care about, or whatever the fuck, like you're crazy if you think that like, oh man, the Nazi movement is really growing prominently in the punk movement. It's like, yeah, that's nothing. That's nothing. You're talking about nothing. You're talking about a handful of people. Okay? Anyway, It's just, yeah, this is not even like a well-defined ideology for them. It doesn't matter. I guess it's like reactionary and maybe like a willingness to do violence and willingness to be contrarian that has like captivated them. So they think that that is what this is about. And that's pretty much it. Nazi punks are trying to co-op. They've never been a significant part. And it doesn't matter. The punk scene overall is not that big. It's not like moving the needle. It's not representative of anything other than a totally isolated niche subsect of a genre. That's it. That's it. It's always been that way. It's not a real thing. There was a movie called Green Room. It was a great movie. I watched it. Yeah, about a punk band who gets stuck in a green room trying to defend themselves against a bunch of skinheads trying to kill them. Yeah, that was great. Great movie. Okay. Hannity also cooked up a sloppy steak for our boy ViVek Ramaswamy. Let's take a look.
Over some of the issues, though. You know, you said aid to Israel, our #1 ally, only democracy in the region, should end in 2028, and that they should be integrated with their neighbors. I have an exact quote. You want me to read it?
That's actually... Yeah, I can tell you the exact quote. What I said is it would be a mark of success if we ever got to a point in our relationship with Israel, if Israel never needed the United States' aid. And Sean, you know how politics is played. A lot of the other professional politicians who have been threatened by my rise have used that statement to say that I would cut off aid to Israel. That's not correct. I've been...
Go over some of...
Is wild that he's doing the whole, like, that's not what I said. Here's what I actually said. Oh, my God. Like, at a certain point, if Laura Ingraham is the only person who's, like, dick riding you, and even Sean Hannity is like, I can't believe you said you would deny aid to Israel, which I'm not even talking about how insane that is as a conversation piece here, that, like, Sean Hannity, again, substitute Israel for any other country, and you will understand how fucking insane this conversation is. Okay? Like, I cannot believe you said aid to Estonia should end by 2028 is not a conversation that you are ever going to have. Okay? It's not going to happen. People will be like, what are you talking about? Shut the fuck up. What? We're giving money to Estonia? Stop it. Okay? And the reality is, like, ViVek saying that while trying to run for president is insane. Obviously, especially considering that we know what the bipartisanship looks like on this issue. Here's another foreign policy take that, again, ViVek, like, kind of deviates away from the foreign policy blob, but in the weirdest ways possible, which even conservatives end up yelling at him for, because Americans are united on foreign policy. American politicians are united on foreign policy. The American media is united on foreign policy. So much so that they ripped Joe Brandon, Dark Brandon, a new asshole when he dared to do the thing that was unimaginable, which is pull out of Afghanistan. Okay? They ripped him a new asshole. I was there. I covered it. You have no fucking idea what that would mean if we didn't support Israel. They would not be able to defend themselves. And, okay, what would be the issue? Yeah. It's just like, I don't know why he has these, like, insane crank takes that he thinks he's going to be able to get across. Okay? Maybe he thinks that, like, enough of the Republican Party doesn't care about, like, constant flow of money to foreign countries. Like, but again, you're forgetting America First is not actually about fucking literally cutting aid to our foreign allies against waging holy battles against our foreign adversaries. It's just, you're supposed to just say that. You're not supposed to, like, defend it, okay? You're supposed to just say America First, time to, like, you know, feed this country's hungry mouths. I'm sick and tired of like spending so much money. It's so much waste without actually describing exactly what you mean. Donald Trump, for all of his like unique, sometimes out of pocket foreign policy takes, literally never said anything about cutting aid to Israel. As a matter of fact, the Jerusalem Accords and moving the Israeli embassy to Jerusalem, which greatly accelerated Israeli violence in its apartheid state to unimaginable levels. Like all of that was done under Donald Trump, or not the Jerusalem Accords, Abraham Accords. Sorry, moving the embassy to Jerusalem and the Abraham Accords. Like, you're out of your fucking mind, brother. I think he legitimately thinks he can harness the 4chan meme machine that Trump did, not realizing they know they're being pandered to, and they're like 2K people. I know. It just screams like you think 4chan won the election for Donald Trump or something, which is so profoundly stupid.
So I'm the only presidential candidate in either party who has had the courage to say that I'm not going to embrace the one China policy, which is the posture of both political parties today. That I'm not going to just adopt strategic ambiguity. We can't afford.
The funniest part about this is that, like, in many ways, Americans don't really like give a shit until it's like right in front of them, like keys being dangled in front of their eyes. So that's why you kind of get away with like whatever the fuck the foreign policy blob wants to do, right? It's just like weird for him to be like, no, I'm gonna stand up to China by saying you're gonna eviscerate the one China policy, which has been basically utilized since the Nixon era. Now, most Americans just hate China. They don't think about like, they don't hate. They don't hate China because like of what China is doing to Taiwan or whatever. Like they don't give a shit. They just hate China because China spiritually is out there. This like foreign entity is out there threatening American hegemonic power. They don't even think about it on those terms. They just think like, well, those guys, they don't look like us. They're out there and they're like kind of fucking our shit up, I think. I don't really understand. I don't really know what's going on here, but I don't like it. Okay? Like, not a single person is like, yeah, I hate China because, what they're doing to Taiwan is unbearable. I can't stand for this. Chiang Kai-shek, he was a brave man. We must defend his honor. What Mao did, what Mao and his forces did to them brave Chinese warriors who stood up and got absolutely cumstered and relegated to an island. Okay? We must defend their honor. We must bring it back. It's like not a thing. Like that's not a thing. That's not a good thing to run on. Call me a lib, but I don't like their lack of civil liberties and authoritarian tendencies, but don't read that as my liking or preferring America. First of all, you are a liberal, yes, but like it is nutty to me to move beyond, I'm just going to stand up to China, which is what everyone says anyway, and actually get down to like exactly how you're going to stand up to China by eviscerating the one China policy when you're not going to do that. Like, it's just not going to happen. And more importantly, there is no interest from the broader population to make that happen. Just say you're going to stand up to China, just like every other person has said in every single election cycle, and leave it at that. The one China policy has always been built on top of a lie, but a lie that was created to normalize relations with China and to ultimately utilize them as a manufacturing hub. This is an infinitely more powerful interest than anything you can put forward. You are not going to single-handedly rework half a century of foreign policy, okay, by debating Sean Hannity on it, okay, by yelling about it on Sean Hannity. America has always said one China, two systems, whatever, doesn't matter, while simultaneously funneling money and weapons, not dissimilar to the Ukrainian situation, but even older weapons in this case, to Taiwan. That's it. We got a lot of them. These weapons got to go somewhere. Let's make it work. We'll give it to Taiwan. That's it. That's what they've done. Meanwhile, the official posture has always, with some exceptions like Nancy Pelosi visiting Taiwan or whatever, has always just been, just don't rock the boat, don't rock the boat, don't rock the boat, don't rock the boat. They are an incredibly important trade partner. Okay? It's ridiculous that he's like coming in here talking about an issue that no one like actually cares about beyond just like saying fuck China and like going out the bat for it, when I know from my personal experience at least that when you speak out against foreign policy, like the established foreign policy rhetoric that's coming out of every facet of media, whether it's left or right, because there is bipartisanship there, okay, you're going to get cumstered. You're just going to get owned. It's not worthwhile. Unless you think like 4chan is going to really love it or some shit.
That we need to be clear that we will defend Taiwan. That's different from strategic ambiguity now. We have to defend Taiwan until we achieve semiconductor independence, at which point we resume our current posture of strategic ambiguity, which is exactly what the U.S. adopts.
Wait, so why don't you just keep doing strategic ambiguity? Like, this makes no sense either. Like, on its face, it doesn't make sense. Strategic ambiguity, by the way, is the American version of lying. I just want to cut through the manufactured consent for a brief moment and explain something to you. America's posture against China is just lying about it. Like, they're like, yeah, Taiwan, authoritarian, sorry, definitely not valid as a state. We fucked up on that, just like we did time and time again. Maybe we fucked up. Maoist Richard Nixon decided to implement normalization strategies with China, said, sorry about that. One nation, two systems, okay? That's what's going on. And then they, of course, reneged on that offer immediately by continuing to give money and funds and weapons to Taiwan, right? But of course, you can't just, say that. You have to sanitize that a little bit. And how do you sanitize that in mainstream media? You sanitize that by saying, oh, we are adopting strategic ambiguity, which in layman's terms is just lying. That's what it is. It's like saying to China, yes, one nation, that's fine, under God, whatever. Or if you don't believe in God, whatever you believe in, under Xi, okay? But, simultaneously they are still beefing up Taiwanese security, right? So, having said that, don't know why ViVek is like, no, I am going to rock the boat. Like, who's asking for it?
Today. So, Sean, it's worth reminding people that right now the U.S.'s position is a one-China policy. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. At what point, for example, if Russia wanted to put nuclear weapons 90 miles south of our border in Cuba, we did have a Cuban Missile Crisis, what would your posture be there? In other words, if you're saying as long as Taiwan provides...
Yeah, he's mad. He's mad that, like, Russia, he's like, this is... Sean Hannity's take here is because he literally said he wants to be allies with Russia against China, which, again, is fucking nutty. Like, of course Sean Hannity is going to be like, dude, that's crazy, okay? Like, who is this for?
Semiconductor chips will help them, but after that, they're on their own?
No, actually, Sean, and that's again how my position's been caricatured. I will remind you and everybody else that right now the United States...
I'm listening.
No, it's not what I'm saying, because Well, I'll give it to you very simply. Right now, the United States' policy towards Taiwan is a one-China policy. Donald Trump was derided. He was made fun of for daring to pick up a phone call from the Taiwanese president. The United States of America right now does not even recognize Taiwan as a nation. I view it differently.
I mean, he's not wrong. It's true. But there's a reason for why they do strategic ambiguity, which you kind of understand, which is why you also said, oh, yeah, after I somehow beef up defenses for Taiwan, I will go back to strategic ambiguity. And it's like, okay, so you're not doing anything different. You claim you want to rock the boat, but then you also are not rocking the boat. It's so dumb.
I am clear that we will defend Taiwan. I'm the only politician in either party that has the courage to say it. And then I would resume. Well, I would resume the current position of the United States after we've achieved semiconductor independence. So that.
Yeah, anyone who actually wants to take on China has to be willing to completely destroy the entire global economy, and Americans would lose their treats for at least a decade. It's not a real position. Yeah, until we have actual complete slavery in this country, where like every prison is operating as a manufacturing facility in the United States of America, where they work for like a cent, okay? Where they can, where America can have competitive manufacturing output that has as low cost manufacturing as like Chinese competitors, and not just Chinese competitors, because quality of life has also improved in China dramatically over the course of the past couple of decades. We're not talking about China in like fucking early 2000s anymore. So even China has this issue now where like their manufacturing capabilities have to also be outsourced to another country half the fucking time, because their factory conditions have gotten better and their manufacturing conditions or their labor conditions have gotten better, because the people are demanding, the people are literally, due to genuine urbanization and genuine improvements on their lives and genuine Chinese prosperity, have turned around and been like, okay, well, you know, we need to also outsource now. And for the record, did you just say out? Are they? Yeah, yes. The memes of like, you know, Chinese factories with Chinese factories where people are getting fucking whipped and working like 90 hours a week are no longer the reality in many of these cities. I mean, look at fucking Shenzhen. Look at how much Shenzhen has developed over the course of the past couple of decades. It's just not, you know, like China is going through their America in the 80s and 90s arc a little bit. Why do people think China is so heavily invested in Africa? They are building institutions to begin moving manufacturing under Chinese investments. You know. Just not true. Shenzhen is a tier 1 city, unlike most cities in China. I mean, okay. I don't think you understood what I was saying. Shenzhen is a tier 1 city. I agree. That is precisely the reason why I used Shenzhen as an example, because Shenzhen, like 20 fucking years ago, is very different than Shenzhen now. That's the point. It is like that is a manufacturing hub that has rapidly developed, okay? Rapidly developed into a city that is much larger than most American cities, much more modern than most American cities. That's my point. You're making my point for me. Thanks for the one example, Hasan. You think there's only one example of Chinese manufacturing, Chinese productive forces being raised to a degree where like Chinese quality of life demands higher pay and better workplace conditions? That is just reality. I am describing to you the reality in China that you can literally see with your own 2 eyes. Oh my God. China is not fucking North Korea. You literally cannot look at a country like that and just be like, nope, I only know what I have seen from mainstream media, so I'm just going to fucking run with that narrative, when it's not like it's not like this is inaccessible, okay? This is information that you can find on your fucking own. Shenzhen's massive evolution is a symbol of China's market reformation and economic growth, from phones to drones, village to megalopolis? Megalopol? How do you fucking say that word? Whatever. See how Shenzhen has changed over the years. This is what it looked like in 1980, dude. This is what it looks like in 2018. That's crazy. Look at this. There are over 50 cities in China with over 2 million population. For reference, Chicago is 2.7 million, and it's the 3rd largest city in the U.S. Yeah, all those like fake European towns and all those ghost cities were a byproduct of developing fast before actually moving people in. And now a lot of those ghost cities that people still run with the memes on, they're filled. There's people there. So this isn't that impressive. I mean, look at all the infrastructure projects in the US. We have a Hyperloop. Yeah, true. So I don't know why people in America constantly do the la 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 I can't hear you baby meme about China, where they just like want to act like, no, it's still exactly like it was in the 90s. Okay? The major difference there politically is that they do have a shit ton of centralized control and planning, and therefore they've engaged in development that I would consider to be even development in comparison to places like the United States of America, where the American government basically had a lot of holes and decided company towns will just make up the void. They'll just fill that void. It's just like, go ahead, build a town for us, Ford. And then when Ford fucked off and left, all of a sudden, there's nothing in that town. It's just a hole. Same thing goes for coal mines in the Appalachian towns that we've seen time and time again. Like, oh yeah, it's fine. We do not want to invest that much, so go ahead, you develop the town, and then when you fuck off, because it's cheaper elsewhere, then we'll just leave the town. You could just leave it behind like a pile of fucking ashes. Here it is. This is Shanghai's Pudong district in 1987 versus 2013. And it's developed tremendously since 2013, by the way. So, like, understand. Per capita, they have the wealth similar to Hungary. Economists are starting to ponder if the Chinese are more wealthy than the Mexicans. Considering where they started in 2000 is super impressive, but I find a lot of people overestimate their wealth. I think you make a lot work when you are, you can get a lot more done when you have complete control. Okay? That's it. Public middle schools in Shenzhen. Pudong was a ghost city in 2009 or something, by the way. Now it's not. Weird how you have to build buildings before people live there, not after. Yeah. So Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities were neglected, though. Tier 1 cities, housing costs got crazy. That's really funny that you say that because, like, their housing costs got crazy is such a meme. Because, yes, you're right. For China, it is a lot. But, you know, when I think about it with an American lens, I can't help but laugh. Because, like, their maximum rent is like $300 a month. I know that it doesn't matter because, like, we're talking about the Chinese economy, but, like, it's still, everything is still infinitely cheaper, like, unimaginably cheaper. Anyway. Is it just me, or do the goalposts keep moving? Anyway, so, I don't know how the fuck we got here. We were talking about ViVek, talking about China. Brazil has much worse currency and economy than the U.S., and rents in middle-class areas are still like $800. Yeah. We hear a lot about, like, how China is going to collapse tomorrow, There's still a lot of interest in that kind of thing from Western copium-induced audiences that just want to hear that, like, they have issues too. And it's not like China is devoid of issues. They have plenty of issues as well, one of which is suffering from success. Now, it's all a matter of like how the Chinese government will deal with housing market problems and whatnot. That's it. The chatter who said China is as wealthy as Mexico is talking bullshit, by the way. China's GDP per capita is comparable to that of Mexico, but median wealth in China is considerably higher as most Chinese own at least one home. Also, not even talking about significantly lower crime rate, but obviously that all doesn't matter as China will collapse in 24 days. Lao Y and Serpenza on YouTube talk about this impending collapse nonstop. Yeah, because they're not talking about the impending collapse because it's actually going to happen. They're talking about it because people want to hear it. They're content creators. They're making content. Okay? It's so weird to think about how little I actually know about modern China, despite how many times I've heard it talked about on news and stuff. It's not weird because, like, a lot of coverage on China comes from people who have an open disdain for the for like any kind of Chinese development. They see it understandably as a threat to American hegemonic power. And it doesn't even matter what, like, China's foreign policy interests are. They're just scared. Because China becoming a major player and a superpower is a threat to America's current global dominance. Okay? It spells doom for the American empire collapsing. It's a reminder, like, no one wants to be reminded that they're dying. You know what I mean? You don't want to be reminded at the top of the hour ad break. You don't want to be reminded that you're dying. But at the top of the hour, there's still a 3-minute ad break that comes. And you can do stuff to mitigate that. You can, for example, subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, where you get 1 free Prime subscription a month. Okay? And use it on your favorite broadcaster. Hopefully that's me, your #1 China simp. Okay? And that way you'll avoid it. Sakura Gore, thank you for the 20 gifted subs, allowing 20 people to also no longer see the ads at the top of the hour. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. Why can't I like all those things that China does are positive, but still think they're too restrictive on freedom of speech, right to assembly, expression, etc.? Wait, what? Well, then you agree with me. What do you mean? That's what I think as well. I don't care that America's global hegemony is threatened. That's a good thing. I I just support more civil liberties, I think. I don't know. I'm still trying to learn and keep an open mind, though. Wait, what? That's I believe that. Yes, I agree with you on that. I don't live there. I could. I think China would be an awesome place to live. Okay? And before you say, well, think about all of the awful things that they're doing. Look at the One Belt, One Road initiative, or fucking they're doing neo-colonialism in Africa, similar to the World Bank and IMF, even though, it's not exactly the same. Or look at what they've done to the Uyghurs in Xinjiang. They've done cultural genocide. I live in America. America, as it stands, still is pound for pound much more evil, right? And I still choose to live here. I still love America. I still think that America has a lot of promise. I could live in China under similar opinions, okay? The only difference is I would not be able to exist in China. I would not be able to freely say whatever the fuck I want in China. That is just the truth. So, for that reason, I choose to live here. Zuriel, the way the West humiliated China in the 1800s and 1700s was one of the main causes of the Meiji period in Japan rapidly modernized to avoid the same fate. Just a fun fact. That's getting clip chimped. I love America, bro. What the actual fuck are you talking about? Little bro, HasanAbi, Lamau? I mean, why the fuck do I live here? I think that America still has a lot of promise. It's up to debate. It's up for debate whether or not they will ever capitalize on its promise. Most likely not. But still the reality. I think one of the major problems with rapid urbanization in China, one of the major issues has still been, it's not the fucking civil liberties or whatever the fuck people complain about. Because, as far as, the Chinese people goes, their perspective on it is, as long as you keep your fucking head down and don't say anything about the government that might get you in trouble, you have this understanding across the board that the government cares about Chinese prosperity. And it has demonstrably happened for them, right? They can see it. They experience it on their everyday lives. So they just say, as long as I keep my head down, do my job, whatever, government's got my back. That is not something, that is not a feeling that any Western liberal democracy enjoyers, I think, experience, especially considering that there are zero corrupt government officials or capitalists that get executed for, I don't know, poisoning the fucking water supply or delivering bad milk to babies and killing a bunch of babies. That kind of shit doesn't happen here. That's part of it. Now, they have your back until you exercise freedom. Yes, that is true. I'm not saying that this is good. I'm saying that I don't even agree with that because I like freedom of speech. Anyway, yeah, it's not like the government is not responsive to popular demands. Look how quickly they dropped the zero COVID once the protest broke out. I mean, that wasn't quick, I would say. Of course, it's great if you're selfish and have no moral compass. Yeah, I'm selfish and have no moral compass. That's why I live in the imperial core, because I'm a selfish imperialist dog, and that chatter is going to do permanent permanent first world genocide to me and others. Okay. Anyway, land of the free, baby. Read it and weep.